Hello everyone and welcome back to day 15 of our polar parrot fish fry journey. It's so wonderful to have you here again. Each day, this aquarium is teaching us something new about life, growth, and resilience. So, before we move on, let's take a quick look back. We had the female laying her first batch of eggs on days 1, and then you had on days 2 to 4 how the eggs were carefully tended for. She would fan the eggs, clean the fungus if there was any build up, etc. Then on days 5 to 7 the eggs hatched into fragile wrigglers. On days 8 to 12 we saw these wrigglers transform into adventurous free swimmers. On day 13, the fry gained confidence and they were darting around like little explorers. And then on day 14, we had a big twist. The female laid a brand new batch of eggs while still caring for the fry. Though this generally doesn't happen, this was kind of a first time for us, and therefore it was another learning opportunity for us as well to see how she would in a way tend to both. Who will get the priority? Will it be the eggs or will it be this first fry of batch? So now on day 15 the big question is, how are the parents handling this double duty? Will they focus on the first batch of fry or will they give more attention to the new eggs? So let's begin first with the fry. If you watch closely, you'll notice how much stronger they are compared to just 2 days ago. Their swimming is smoother, their tail flicks with more rhythm, and some are even darting after tiny food particles. Though they are smaller than a grain of rice, but their independence is growing day by day. So it's a bit like watching toddlers at a playground. Yesterday they were wobbling on tricycles. Today they are running with more confidence. Still clumsy, but early, clearly they are learning fast about how to get along with life. And the same thing can be said about these fry over here. Their swimming now is little bit more purposeful, more kind of confidence is there in their swimming. So that's something good to watch, and we see that each fry that survives this particular stage is proving its resilience, because in a community tank it is really survival against the odds, because you have other fish waiting to enjoy a snack. So a lapse of concentration on the part of the parents can easily lead to loss of 1 to 5 fry at a time. Now the fry are doing well, though they are hardly around 7 to 8. Let's talk about the new batch of eggs. Now the female laid the eggs 2 days ago, and we can see her in a way hovering nearby, fanning them with gentle movements to keep them oxygenated and clean. Now the male continues to patrol. Sometimes he's circling around the nest, or sometimes he's just kind of darting around chasing away any imaginary predators. Now you already know what we mean by imaginary predators. So a fish may come close but without the intention of actually harming them, but then for these parents anything that comes closer is a potential threat, and therefore they will immediately charge and try to make sure that the threat is clear, there's no threat at all. So now the male continues to serve this double duty, caring for the eggs, that is patrolling the eggs as well as patrolling the fry. One thing that we have noticed now is that the fry are more together. So earlier we saw them, they were scattered all over the tank. Now they are all in one place, which I think given the new role of the parents, they have somehow learned that it's better to keep them in one place. So again, this is part of the learning experience. So if you compare this female or this pair from day 1 till day 15, there's a lot that they have learned, and that a lot of experience that they have gained, and that is something which is really fascinating to watch, something fascinating to learn for us as well. Now, this dual responsibility that these polar parrotfish have taken is indeed fascinating. Now, on the one hand, they must protect a fragile batch of eggs. On the other hand, they have a cloud of energetic fry that is, wanting to explore various parts of the tank. So, what do they do? So, and therefore, this kind of balance between the two is necessary. Now, obviously, after a couple of days, I think we will have to separate the first batch of fry, because they could kind of be a potential threat for the eggs as well, and therefore we don't want the parents attacking them or neglecting them. So we will separate them in the once these eggs hatch. So we'll have to do that to protect the new batch. Now, in nature, many cichlids are known to spawn again while raising fry. Now, this is a survival strategy. So, they say that if one brood doesn't make it, another stands a chance. But for first time parents like this, it is a real challenge. So, but we see that these two have taken up the task and they are learning every day. That is something really beautiful. Now, the parents are seen to be dividing their roles. Now, the female seems to be a bit torn between, the eggs and the fry. She's unable to give full attention to either, but she's done a good job of making sure that at least the fry are in close proximity and close to one another. I think that's one of the most important things that she has done, and that has in a way saved her a lot of work there. Now, if you look at the fry, they're kind of trying to, slowly enter into that nest, enter near the protective zone where the eggs are there, and you will see the mother slowly trying to push them away. So that is the early signs that we need to intervene. Now, if you notice, however, there is just one fry that's not fully developed. You can see that it is still in that kind of it's not yet free swimming, but it's like not yet fully developed. So I think that is something that we will keep in the aquarium, so that it can develop with the other fry as well. Now, the male, on the other hand, we see that acts as a soldier. He's patrolling the tank, making sure there's no threat at all. But he can't be everywhere at once, right? So now sometimes the fry may drift far away. What does he do? But thankfully, the fry are cooperating. So in a way, as of now, everything is going according to plan. Everything is following a rhythm, which is pretty good. The moment the fry scatter away, then we see the whole trouble begins. As of now, there is no kind of real sense of urgency over here. But obviously, we'll see that once the fry start moving, you will have the male or the female then going to collect them, and the eggs then may be exposed. So these things have to be looked into. Now, unlike experienced cichlid parents who often get their fry together in a tight school, these two have done quite a fantastic job by learning the need or the importance of getting the fry together, and therefore now the fry are together, so it's quite good for them. um, Now let's speak about the fry development, because the fry now are at quite a important stage. So their yolk sacs are fully absorbed, and they are now relying on external food. So sometimes we see them eating microscopic organisms in the tank, or sometimes also the female will snatch a pellet from here and there, munch it and spit it out in front of them, and the fry then eat those pellets in the powdered form. We also do put some powdered fish food for the fry also. So that also helps them to in a way get nutrition and grow. Now their swim bladders are more developed, and this gives them better balance and helps them to in a way swim properly rather than just sinking to the surface. However, as you can see, there's one fry who's not yet fully developed, so he's quite small compared to the rest, and he might be the weakling in the group, but still valuable as ever. Now we see that this balance that they have to develop is important for swimming forward. Just think of it as a child not just learning to run, but also learning to stand still without falling over. So stability is growth. Now if you have a similar situation in your tank, here are some practical tips from my end. So if you have some more, please feel free to share it with me. You can always comment what you would do in such a situation. So for me, first and foremost, the water parameters need to be stable. So with two broods now, there's more waste. So again, water quality has to be good. So good filtration and regular water changes are essential. Now we need to feed small but frequent meals to support rapid fry growth, and therefore feed small quantities but frequently, maybe 3 or 4 times a day. Now be cautious with filters. So if you're having a power filter, well, it will just suck the fry in, so that's the end of it. The best approach to go is with a sponge filter, so they are best to avoid fry getting sucked into. And also you need to decide when to intervene. So as I said earlier, some aquarists will separate the fry and the eggs into different tanks. Others, like me, are allowing nature to take its course. So my whole intention here is to allow the parents to learn. Now but obviously, as I said earlier, I will be separating the fry maybe in another 2 or 3 days. So once the eggs hatch into wrigglers, it will then be time, because obviously the parents will won't be able to give attention to both the broods, so hence we'll have to intervene at that stage. Now this situation carries a powerful lesson for us as well. So life does not always wait until one challenge is over before giving us another. Now sometimes responsibilities also tend to overlap. Sometimes we are asked to handle two things at once, just like these parents are caring for the fry while guarding the fresh eggs. So this is a lesson in resilience. We don't have to be perfect, but we keep trying. So just like students managing studies and part-time jobs, or parents balancing work with children, so growth often means juggling multiple roles at once, and therefore strength comes from persistence and not perfection. So therefore what we've learned today is that the fry have been more confident in their swimming, in their exploring, and they are sticking together, which is a sigh of relief for the parents as well as for me. Now the new batch of eggs are under the watchful gaze of the parents. So it's either one of them is there constantly making sure that the eggs are guarded at all times. Now the parents obviously are kind of stretched thin, either caring for the fry or for the eggs, but they're doing a good job so far balancing the two. Now these little fish remind us that even when life doubles our challenges, we can rise to meet them. It's all about taking one small effort at a time. Now tomorrow on day 16, we'll see whether the parents shift more focus to the eggs or continue balancing the two, or do they give only attention to the fry. That choice will be a real test of instinct and endurance. So thank you for joining me today, and don't forget to like, share and subscribe so that you won't miss tomorrow's update. Until then, keep finding inspiration in every tiny flicker of life. Happy fish keeping.